Okay, let's talk about an important topic, which is why you're not improving. And the reason for that is going to be two things. It's going to be the perception of what it takes to make it, and two, it's going to be the current training that you're doing. The reason that I'm making this video is I had a very interesting conversation with one of my sales reps who went through this exact same process. He just got into sales recently. He's been doing extremely well. He's actually probably one of my top reps. But the reality is he's feeling stagnant. And the reason for that is because of his perception of what it takes and his current training. So let's talk about it. So where you're at right now, your current ability is where you're going to be at the moment. So when we think about where you're at the moment, you probably think, I'm okay, right? I'm all right. I could be better, I could be worse. But the reality is you're probably better than you think you are. We're always very harsh on ourselves and we're always negative as to what's going on in our life. And when it comes to training, right? So your current training methods are a bit like when you train for badminton, right? They're fucking pointless. Like, this does nothing. And this is the way that you're training at the moment. You're doing role plays with no purpose, no impression. There's no reason as to why you're doing that role play other than to fill that hour slot. You're not doing it for a sole purpose. You're doing it because you think it's going to make you better. But if you go to the gym and you don't know what muscle you're trying to improve that day and you just train everything every single day, are you going to get any bigger? No. You're going to be fatigued. You're not going to get any better, and you're not going to get any bigger. You have to look at closing as the exact same thing. So when we're training, we need to make sure that it's not pointless, which I'll come to in a minute. So pointless trainings can look like things like RPs. So if you're doing a bunch of RPs and you're not seeing any improvements, you're doing the same things, you're having the same problems, you're having the same questions asked to you, this is a huge thing. When you're role playing, you need to structure your role plays and you need to do them a certain way. Another thing is call reviews. When you're doing call reviews, right, you can't just call review to say you've call reviewed. What are you specifically looking for? What is the main aim that you're trying to improve? And what is the thing that keeps coming up over and over and over again? You need to have a tracker for all of your call reviews. In the description of this video, I'm going to put in the call tracker that I use to personally track all of my calls, all of my sales reps calls, so you can see what objection you're getting, so you can have much more detailed systems, and so you can see exactly what is going wrong with you. And a problem that this sales rep has, and I imagine a lot of people are having, is just watching the same things over and over and over and over again, expecting to get some new insight out of them or some new piece of value out of them, when the reality is if you watch the same thing over and over again and you're trying to desperately pull the blood out of a stone, you're not going to get anywhere. Nothing's going to change. And what you need to do is you need to organically come across these videos, organically watch them, and organically come across content that actually helps you to improve, and just focusing on the things that you truly need to improve and the things that you can control improving on. And the other thing which keeps you at this dreaded current ability level is probably your perception of what it takes. The reality is a lot of people, when they first get into the space, they think you need to work 28-hour days, you need to be like Mr. David Goggins, and you need to be slogging it out, grinding, working all the time. But the reality is if you work harder if you work smarter instead of harder, you're going to see a lot more results. My best ever month, when I made 26K, I was training 4 hours a day. And that was on days where I didn't have a full calendar. Most days it would be anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a day. And I wouldn't train on Sundays. I wouldn't work on Sundays. So I'd take a day off. And with this is how I managed to get to where you probably want to get to with 20, 30, 40K a month. The other problem I see a lot of people do is investing for the sake of it. When you're investing into something just because it feels like the right decision, but you don't know why you're joining it, you're just throwing money down the drain. And that's something that I see all too commonly. Is people come to me and they say, listen, I want some one-to-one mentorship. I don't even do it. But I say, I don't do it. Why would you want one-to-one mentorship? And they say, well, you're good at sales. I want to improve. Okay, what do you need to improve on? I don't know. If you don't know what you need to improve on, how are we going to be able to effectively help you and effectively give you the results you're looking for? So when you're deciding who to invest on, you need to make sure that you know why you're doing it and investing with a purpose. And the reality is if you do all of this for the next 3-4 months, you're going to end up right where you started at your current ability level. You might even get worse. You're going to remain stagnant. But if you want to make that change, if you want to become that 2.0 version of yourself, what you need to do is you need to start training by planning your training. So planning out your training. Now, the way I'd recommend doing this is every day setting aside 1 hour for call reviews. So call reviews. every day what you're going to do is you're going to review your worst call. So the worst call from the day before. If you don't have one from the day before, take it from 2 days ago. Just review your worst call. Then when you're in a bit of a sales slump, review your best call. Just to give you an idea of what you were doing when you were performing versus when you're not performing. That will help a ton. The second thing you're going to do is you're going to set up a 30-minute role play with either the best closer that you know or someone who you'd say is on a similar level with you. And what you're going to do is you're just going to role play objections, but you're not going to close each other. You want the person that you're role playing with to not close, no matter what. What they're going to do is they're going to be literally the worst prospect. So the worst case scenario of what you could experience on a sales call. Because what that's going to do is it's going to acclimatize you and get you used to the worst possible prospects. So if you do this every day where for 30 minutes you're dealing with the worst possible prospect, you're beating them down and you're getting over those objections, or at least trying to, what you'll come is when you come to the real call, it'll be so easy once you experience this really hard objections every single day. And the thing is if you do this every single day, it's only going to get easier. You're only going to get better at it. And with time, you can reduce that. You can do it every 2 days, every 3 days, twice a week, once a week, eventually, right? But the aim is to start with is just cold water shock. You want to get yourself as out of your comfort zone as humanly possible. The other thing you want to do as well is 1 hour of teaching. 1 hour of teaching. So what you want to do is, whether you're in a newish community or whether you're in a community with a lot more experienced guys, is find someone who's maybe just starting. Get on a role play with them, and instead of trying to improve and showing off your knob that you're the man and you make money, teach. Show them what you wish you'd learned. Show them what you're struggling with. Show them, understand their situation and help them to improve. Teaching is the best way to learn. If you can teach people and you can do it effectively, you're going to be able to get so much better at sales. So focus on teaching for an hour a day. And the other half an hour you can use for whatever you want, right? For the other half an hour, you can maybe do some more objections. You can maybe do another call review. You can maybe do some more teaching. But stick to 4 hours a day at a push too. You could even do less than this. But 4 hours a day of training is going to be the perfect amount for you. If you do 4 hours a day of training with 1 hour of call reviews, review your worst call from the day before. If you're in a bit of a sales slump, your best call. Then do 30 minutes to an hour, I'll say. 30 minutes to an hour of objection handling where you tell the person role playing you're not allowed to close, and they just fight with you, they argue with you, and they make it as hard as humanly possible. And you take the real call will be as easy as possible. And you take an hour out of your day to teach, you will get the best possible results. The reason for this, again, is think about when you go to the gym, right? When we go to the gym, we go for 1/2 hours. Why do we not go for 8 hours, right? Why do we not go for 8 hours? Sore, we don't recover, right? And it's not fun. It's not fun. So what I'm trying to say is the reason that we don't go to the gym for 8 hours is because it's just not sustainable. If you're in closing, you want to be doing this for a while, you want to learn how to do it, and you want to be able to continue to improve. So what you need to be doing is training for that minimum time, so slightly more, 2 to 4 hours, where you're doing detailed, heavy work that you can do every single day without fail and not burn out, not get sore, and not be unable to recover. And what this will do with this style of training is guarantee you becoming that 2.0 version of yourself by having dedicated, tailored reviews and targeting your growth. So focusing on what you need to improve on will get you to where you need to be and becoming that 2.0 version. The other thing that needs to make a change is going to be your perception of what it takes. You need to realize that you don't need the 28 hours a day training, David Goggins style, to get to where you want to be. You need to realize that you only need 2 to 4 hours a day of training, of being time efficient and optimal with your training instead of just doing whatever you feel like. And then also investing into what's needed. Let's say you're really struggling with challenging people. taking that, figuring that out, going to your mentor and investing in someone like Kurt Uwalde, Yestin, people who are good at challenging and overcoming those issues with the prospects. If you're struggling with your discovery, go to Josh Lyons. If you're struggling with your discovery, go to NAPQ, go to Jeremy Miner, right? It's identifying what you need and solving that problem rather than just investing into the next best guru that you see on Instagram. And if you do all of these things, I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt that you will end up becoming that 2.0 version of yourself. And when you do, you will become it and it will be so easy and you can continue to improve forever with only 2 to 4 hours a day of training. As I mentioned, if you want the way that I track calls, track all of my call reviews so that you can have a better understanding, the link will be in the description. And if you want to get inside of my community, change one of those hours to a community call, then there will be a link for that in the description as well.